The 18th day of February, the 18th day of February, where Ramadan and Lent begin on the same day. My name is Yvonne. Kemuma. Let's get a short highlight, then we'll be back with the stories of the day. Muslim faithfuls across the country have begun observing the holy month of Ramadan as Catholic believers also enter the Lent season of prayer and fasting. Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna pokes holes into agreements between the national government and the Nairobi County, accusing leaders of ignoring the law. President William Ruto tours several parts of Nairobi just a day after signing a cooperation deal with the county government. And residents of Gatundu South are counting losses after heavy rainfall destroyed property and disrupted livelihoods.
This is KUTV Primetime News with Yvonne Kemuma.
On the sign language interpretation is Mutava Mwongeri. Do engage with us on X at KUTV_Kenya, at Kemuma_Monari. We are streaming live on YouTube at KUTV News Kenya. Let's begin. Now, for the first time in more than 30 years, Muslims and members of the Catholic Church have begun the fasting seasons of Ramadan and Lent at the same time, an uncommon event last witnessed in 1997. Religious leaders from both faiths have urged members to strengthen their faith, maintain peace, and live in unity during this important period of spiritual reflection. Akida Kasim spoke to worshippers in Nairobi and prepared the following report.
Millions of Muslims and Catholic Christians have commenced their respective fasting periods simultaneously, with Muslims observing the 30 days of Ramadan while Christians enter the 40 days of Lent. This occurrence is rare due to differences in religious calendars. The last time both fasting seasons coincided was in 1997.
Nasema mwezi huu wa Ramadhani, sisi hii ni mara ya kwanza katika maisha labda yetu sisi kuona Lent na Ramadhan zimekuja takriban siku moja.
For Muslims, the holy month of Ramadan begins after the sighting of the crescent moon. Believers fast from dawn to sunset, a period marked by repentance, prayer, and spiritual purification.
Si ati katika kufunga tu ndio watu wakuwe wazuri, hata baada ya watu wameshafunga waendelee na mkondo huo. Hii mwezi wa Ramadhani imeletwa kama booster ya kufanya mtu azidishe.
With the Catholic Church, Lent begins on Ash Wednesday and lasts for 40 days. It is a time to reflect on the suffering of Jesus Christ, deepen prayer, and perform acts of charity. Church leaders say this is also a time to pray for national peace and unity among all Kenyans, especially during social and political challenges.
Si viongozi wetu wa kidini, wa siasa na kijamii wasitenganishe jamii hizi, wajenge undugu wao.
Ni vizuri kuavoid mambo ya vita, uchochezi. Usalama ni muhimu sana katika masuala ya dini.
Believers have also been encouraged to refrain from immoral acts, to increase good deeds, including giving alms to orphans and assisting the needy.
Huu ni mwezi wa rehema, wa kusameana. Kama inakuwa wewe uko na uwezo, unaenda kukatoa sadaka kwa wale mayatima, unaenda hospitali kuangalia watu, Naelewa jirani yako unamwangalia, mama yako, ndugu zako.
In business areas such as Isli, traders say activities are continuing smoothly despite rising prices of some essential Ramadan commodities, including dates, which are now retailing at 300 shillings per kilogram.
Wenye wako na biashara na wenye wananunua, wenye wanauza wote wako na uchumi kwanza iko juu. Sasa serikali pia tusaidie ndio tupate at least.
Worshippers have further been urged to avoid wrongdoing and use this period to read and reflect on the holy scriptures of the Quran and the Bible. For the first time in this period, Christians of the Catholic Church and Muslims are beginning their fast together as a sign of spiritual unity. Akida Kasim, KUTV, Nairobi.
Now, across the country today, thousands of Catholic faithfuls gathered in churches to observe Ash Wednesday, marking the beginning of the Lent season. Tonight, we take a look at the meaning behind the ashes, the spiritual discipline of Lent in this important period of preparation for Easter. Today, Catholics across the nation observed Ash Wednesday, the day that opens the season of Lent in the Roman Catholic Church calendar. The ashes used on Ash Wednesday are made from the burnt palm branches used on the previous Palm Sunday. Lent lasts for 40 days, excluding Sundays, and recalls the period when Jesus fasted and prayed in the wilderness.
Kwaresma si kufunga kula chakula tu, lakini ni kufufua sifa nzuri za kibinadamu zilizoko ndani ya binadamu na katika jamii ili kuzitumia katika kusambaza umoja na upendo kati ya jamii.
During this time, Catholics are encouraged to deepen their faith through prayer, fasting, and acts of charity. On Ash Wednesday, many observe fasting and abstinence.
Ni vizuri kipindi hiki kudumisha amani katika njia ya kumsogelea Mungu na kutubu dhambi. Maana kile kinafanya watu watafarakane, waachane na watukanane ni dhambi. Naye dhambi inatenganisha mtu na Mungu. Kwa hivyo wakati unapotubu dhambi, na mwenzako natubu dhambi, mnakuja karibu na Mungu na ni njia ya kuonesha upendo, watu wapendane.
Beyond giving up food or comfort, believers say Lent is about changing attitudes, strengthening relationships, and serving others. Now, political leaders across the country have weighed in on the recent agreement between President William Ruto and Nairobi County Governor Johnson Sakaja, igniting nationwide debate over its political, economic, and governance implications. The deal struck yesterday has drawn mixed reactions, with some leaders expressing cautious optimism, while others have sharply criticized its timing and intent.
The agreement, which reportedly aims to strengthen cooperation between the national government and Nairobi County, has sparked debate over its implications for governance, service delivery, and political alignments ahead of future elections, leading to leaders' reaction. Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna expressed concern, saying the agreement between the national government and Nairobi County administration lacked public participation, arguing that deals must undergo public scrutiny before signing.
For the disbandment of these two agencies, going so far as including the full unbundling of the functions in the MOU he signed with President Ruto in March of 2025. Ruto continues to not only ignore that MOU, but to actively violate it, as demonstrated by the so-called cooperation agreement.
Meanwhile, Embakasi East MP Babu Owino accused the two leaders of sidelining key stakeholders, arguing that Nairobi challenges include infrastructure, healthcare, and waste management require structured policy solutions rather than political handshakes.
Currently, what did we see? Nairobians trusted the wrong person, gave power, gave responsibility to a person who was not qualified for the job. That is Governor Sakaja. He's become a disappointment. He's been singing of Nairobi working, and indeed the transfer of functions to the national government is a clear sign that the governor is a born incompetent governor, a governor who cannot deliver services to the citizens of Nairobi.
Whereas other leaders allied to the Kenya Kwanza administration welcomed the agreement, saying it signalizes unity of purpose and a commitment to fast-track development projects in the capital. As public debate continues, many residents are watching closely to see whether the agreement will translate into tangible improvements in service delivery or remain a subject of political contention. Atenka Negunda, KUTV.
Now, President William Ruto has intensified his high-profile development tour of Nairobi after striking off a cooperation deal between the national government and Nairobi City County government. A pact the two players say goes beyond routine politics and seeks to tackle deep-seated urban challenges that have long plagued the city. As Ochieng Cynthia reports, the Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja has maintained that the agreement is for the benefit of the Nairobians.
Just a day after putting pen to paper, the rubber met the road as President William Ruto kicked off his Nairobi tour, signaling swift action following the cooperation deal with the Nairobi City County government. The head of state moved from the boardroom commitments to on-the-ground inspections, traversing key city projects and engaging residents on long-standing concerns. This is after his assurance yesterday that he has no interest in Nairobi County.
For the avoidance of doubt, I have no interest in running the city of Nairobi. My hands are full.
However, in 2024-2025, Nairobi River Cleanup, led by President William Ruto's national government, played a leading role in funding and coordination, sparking tension with the Nairobi City County government, as critics accusing the national government of overstepping and undermining devolution, framing the intervention as a takeover of county responsibilities. But Sakaja strongly came to their defense.
Waswahili wanasema ahadi ni nini?
This time, Sakaja made it easy for the president. While accompanying him, he emphasized that the agreement is meant to fast-track delivery and eliminate bureaucratic delays that have slowed progress in the capital.
Lazima nifanye vyovyote vilivyo kuhakikisha kwamba mmekaa vizuri na.
To his defense, Governor Johnson Sakaja dismissed claims that the cooperation agreement amounts to surrendering control of the capital and selling of the city.
Tuliona watu wameanza porojo. Mimi sijapeana mamlaka yoyote kwingine. Mimi nashirikiana na rais. Nairobi ni capital city ya Kenya hii, si ndio hiyo? So kama mdosi anatuongezea maziwa ni fiti ama ni mbaya? Si ni fiti?
To Sakaja, this pact is mainly for the interest of the people.
We have come together between the national government and the county government in the interest of the people of Nairobi. Umoja ni nguvu, utengano ni udhaifu.
As debate rages over claims of a Nairobi sale, the pact between President William Ruto and the Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, the question remains to be, is it just a mere agreement, or is Ruto the new sheriff in Nairobi town?
Atinipange kichele.
Ochieng Cynthia, KUTV.
Okay, now we are due for a short commercial break here on the bulletin, and then we'll be back with more reports on the other end, so see you then.
Are you ready to take charge of your health? Welcome to Focus on Health, your weekly guide to staying informed and living better. Join me every week as I sit down with trusted medical experts.
Gynecology is basically a field concerned with mainly the female genitalia.
explore real-life stories,
during when the patient come in,
and bring you updates and tips that are beneficial to your health. Because health isn't just important, it is everything. Tune in to Focus on Health every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. only on KUTV. I'm your host, Kandia Marian, and I'll see you then.
A new era, a new people. This is the Law Matters Show. A program that brings you legal sensitization on your television.
My statement is written and just the quote the prosecution.
I think that this loss is a setback for Raila Odinga.
What policy recommendations were fronted by the candidate?
With diversity, we demystify important legal issues locally, regionally, and internationally.
What Tanzanians.
Join me, Elvin Onsongo, as I bring you more insights on law matters.
We are looking at social issues. What is the problem? Is it the economy? Is it...
Law Matters Show, creating awareness, advocacy, and enhancing lives.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Yvonne Kemuma.
And welcome back on the sign language interpretation. We are doing this with Mutava Mwangeli. Engage with us on X at KUTV_Kenya, at Kemuma_Munari. Now let's continue. Leaders of the Democratic Congress Party DCP in Kirinyaga County have called for an immediate investigation into senior security officers accused of sponsoring violence at opposition political rallies. Led by Chairman Justus Munene, the leaders say recent incidents, including the use of tear gas at a church in Witima, Othaya, and disruptions of political meetings in Nairobi and Kitengela, point to a working pattern. They have urged independent investigation agencies to take swift action to hold those responsible accountable and to protect the rights of leaders and citizens to express themselves freely without intimidation.
You have heard about and you have witnessed a situation whereby the government in place, that led by Kasongo, has been so shameless, it tear gases children, women, and vulnerable groups in churches, which are places of worship. It is very shameful because this government came in power through prayers. So whatever you are seeing Kasongo doing, he's a dictator. He never believed in this constitution, and we cannot expect this Kasongo to advance the cause of democracy in this nation.
Now, the leaders of the United Green Movement Party, David Maraga, has criticized political conduct at political gatherings, raising concerns over the country's electoral process and asset sales. Speaking in Embu, he defended democratic freedoms and outlined his party's next course of action.
Addressing journalists in Embu town, David Maraga, the leader of the United Green Movement Party, condemned what he termed excessive police force at political events, calling it an outdated tactic that cannot replace meaningful political dialogue, saying his party is considering legal action to seek justice for victims of alleged brutality and to hold those responsible accountable.
I want the Kenyans to know what I stand for. I want the Kenyans to know what I stand for, and I am ready to work with the opposition candidates who are firm that we must deal with corruption Hiyo ni kitu ambayo imepitwa na wakati. Kenya tumetoka hapo. Ukiona serikali inatumia nguvu wakati huu, hiyo ni kuonyesha wamepanic. We fikiria, uliona ile rally ya Kitengela.
Though open to a wider opposition alliance, Maraga insists on confirming shared values, prioritizing fighting corruption and impunity devastating the nation, as he cited incident in Kitengela, Nyeri, claiming police disrupted peaceful gathering and used tear gas on civilians without provocation.
Serikali ndio inatakikana kupeleka huduma kwa wananchi, sio wananchi wanaenda kutafuta huduma. Na tunaendelea kuambia IBC wawe na hiyo registration center katika constituency headquarters, lakini wawe na mpango kamili ya kwenda kila pahali, kila soko waende soko. Ni kutangaza tu kusema leo tuko hapa, wiki hii tuko hapa, wiki ijayo tutakuwa pahali fulani, wasije wakakae constituency headquarters. Watu hawawezi kwenda huko.
Turning to elections, Maraga faulted the Independent Electoral and Boundary Commission IEBC for low voter registration turnout, urging the commission to decentralize services.
It is very, very sad. It's very sad because some of those government resources being sold are very, very strategic. Talk about Kenya Pipeline. Supposing it goes to the hands of foreigners, for example, they will hold you at ransom. The Safaricom shares. Safaricom is one of the prime companies in the country. So you don't sell the parastatals that are generating a lot of income.
Maraga dismissed claims of being a state-backed project and insisted his priority remains fighting corruption and impunity while opposing the sale of strategic public assets to fund development. As the political debate intensifies, Maraga says his party will pursue legal and civic action to defend democratic space, electoral integrity, and accountability. Atenka Negunda, KUTV.
Now, after a long dry season, residents of Gatundu South in Kiambu County are counting losses following heavy rains that fell on Tuesday night. Roofs were blown off several homes in the village, while other houses were completely destroyed. Caroline Kimwele files this report.
Several homes in different villages in Gatundu South, Kiambu County, have been damaged following heavy rains that fell on Tuesday night despite the prolonged dry season. Some residents are complaining about the losses they suffered as a result of the heavy rainfall.
Nyumba ya ndugu yangu imebebwa na upepo juu. Tulikuwa kwa ndugu yangu mwingine maombolezi. Then tukiwa kwa maombolezi tunaitwa kwingine, tunaambiwa kwa ndugu yako hakuna nyumba. Mtoto ameokolewa na brother yake.
Several roads including the Gatundu Mangu and Gatundu Kenyatta roads became impassable after falling trees blocked them for several hours.
Ile shida nimeona kubwa sana. Hii miti iko kwa barabara hizi inafaa ikatwe yote iondokee karibu na barabara, sababu sasa ile kama sasa imeanguka hivi, imeziba barabara, mnaona simaziona ndizo hizi sasa. Sasa inafaa iondolewe yote.
Many parts of the constituency were also plunged into total darkness after electricity lines were damaged by fallen trees. Residents, together with the Kenya Power and Lightning Company KPLC, faced a difficult time removing branches and large trees that had fallen on power lines.
Njia ya Kiamwangi kumekuwa na janga la miti kuangushwa na mvua ambayo imekuwa kali sana. Na njia hizi zimefungika, miti kama 6 hivi yenye ni kubwa ya uzito imeweza kufunga njia yetu, na stima imeweza kupotea kigafra yenye tunahofia daktari mahospitali mingi zenye ziko around zitatatisika.
Residents are now calling on the government and KPLC to take urgent action to restore electricity, noting that power is essential for many activities including business and hospital services. The government is also being urged to be better prepared to deal with such environmental disasters in order to prevent the destruction of property and loss of life. Caroline Kimwele, KUTV.
Now, moving on to the sporting world, the national women's football team Harambee Starlets has intensified its preparations ahead of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON as the squad undergoes rigorous training to improve tactics and team cohesion. According to a statement from the Football Federation, the team is in good competitive shape and is aiming to deliver strong performance in the continental tournament. Well, 25 minutes past the top of the hour, and we call it a night on this particular broadcast. Many thanks for choosing KUTV to keep you informed once again. Until next time, my name is Yvonne. Kemuma on the sign language interpretation was Mutava Mungeli. Have a good night.